On Father's Day, my millionaire son came home after months of being away. He did not bring me an expensive watch. He did not bring me a luxury car. He did not even bring a gift. Instead, he sat across from me and asked a question that I never expected to hear from my own son. Dad, are you happy with the $8,000 Lauren sends you every month? I looked at him and stayed silent. For a few seconds I could not find the words. Then I quietly said something that made my son's face change completely. Son, the church is keeping me alive these days. He stared at me as if he had just discovered something terrible. But neither of us knew that Lauren was about to walk through that door. And when she did, she was carrying something that would reveal the truth about our family. Story. My name is Daniel. I never expected to become a father who would watch his own son become richer than he could ever imagine. When my son Michael was young, we lived a very simple life. There was nothing luxurious about our home. The roof leaked whenever it rained. The old car in our driveway needed repairs more often than it needed fuel. And sometimes I would sit at the kitchen table late at night trying to calculate how I could pay the next bill without letting my family know how worried I was. But Michael never complained. He was a quiet child. He would sit beside me while I repaired old machines in the garage. He would ask questions about everything. How does this work? Why does that happen? Can we fix this instead of buying another one? I always told him the same thing. If you learn how to fix problems, you will never be afraid of difficult days. Those words stayed with him. When Michael grew older, he started his first small business. It was nothing impressive. He had one old computer and a tiny room that he rented above a store. He worked almost every hour he was awake. I remember telling him to sleep. He would smile and say that one day he would buy me a house where the roof never leaked. I laughed when he said it. I told him I did not need a big house. All I wanted was for him to be happy. Years passed. Michael became successful, then extremely successful. His company grew faster than anyone expected. The little boy who once counted coins at our kitchen table was suddenly traveling in private jets and attending meetings with people whose names appeared in newspapers. But money changed more than his bank account. It changed his schedule. His life became busy. His phone never stopped ringing. He missed birthdays. He missed family dinners. He missed church services. Still, every month he made sure I was taken care of. $8,000 appeared in my account. At first I refused. I told him I could manage. He told me not to argue. Dad, you spent your whole life taking care of me. Let me take care of you now. I accepted the money, but I rarely spent it. I lived simply. I bought groceries. I paid the electricity bill. I repaired what needed repairing. And I gave a large part of the money to the small church near my home. Nobody knew. Not even Michael. The church had become my second home after my wife died. Every Sunday I sat in the same wooden chair near the back. I listened to people pray. I helped elderly people carry groceries. I sometimes paid for someone's medicine. And when someone asked where the money came from, I simply smiled. I never wanted praise. I believed that if my son had been blessed with more than he needed, then perhaps some of that blessing could quietly help someone else. Then came Father's Day. That morning I woke up early. I made coffee. I opened the window. The neighborhood was quiet. I looked at an old photograph of Michael as a child. He was standing beside me with his tiny hand wrapped around my finger. I smiled. Then I heard a car outside. I knew immediately who it was. Michael had arrived. He walked through the front door wearing an expensive suit. But when he hugged me, he was still my little boy. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I smiled. Thank you, son. We sat together for breakfast. For several minutes we talked about ordinary things. Then Michael became unusually quiet. He looked at me. Dad, can I ask you something? Of course. Are you happy? I laughed. What kind of question is that? He looked serious. I mean, with the money I send you every month. Are you happy with the $8,000 Lauren sends you? I looked down at my coffee. That was when I realized he had been thinking about this for a long time. I could have told him everything. I could have told him that I was saving some of his money. I could have told him how much I gave away. But instead I answered honestly. Son, the church is keeping me alive these days. Michael stopped breathing for a moment. What do you mean? I looked toward the window. I told him that money could pay bills. Money could buy food. Money could buy medicine. But money could not replace people. After his mother died, the church became the place where I felt less alone. Michael looked down. His voice became softer. Dad, why did you never tell me? Because you were busy building your life. That sentence hurt him. I could see it. But I continued. I never wanted to become another responsibility on your list. You already have enough people asking you for things. I am your father. I wanted to be the one person who never asked. Michael stood up. He walked toward the window. For several seconds he said nothing. Then he turned around. Dad, How much of the money do you actually spend? I smiled. Not much. Where does the rest go? I looked at him. To people who need it more than I do. He did not understand. So I explained. The church has elderly people who cannot afford medicine. There are families who sometimes have no food. There are children who need school supplies. And there are people who have nobody. I thought your money could help them. Michael sat down again. His eyes were wet. He said something I will never forget. I thought I was taking care of you. I smiled. You were. Then I pointed toward the church across the road. You just did not know how far your kindness was traveling. At that exact moment the front door opened. Lauren walked inside. She was elegant as always, but this time she was not smiling. She had heard enough. She looked at Michael. Then she looked at me. Then she placed an envelope on the table. Michael asked what it was. Lauren said, I think your father deserves to know. Michael opened it. Inside were receipts. Hundreds of them. Food, medicine, school supplies, emergency rent, hospital bills, all paid using money from the monthly account. Michael looked at me in disbelief. Dad, you have been doing all this with the money I send you. I nodded. Lauren finally spoke. Your father never told you because he did not want you to feel guilty. Michael shook his head. I was not angry. I was embarrassed. He looked at his father and realized something he had forgotten. His father had never wanted his money. He had wanted his son. Michael reached across the table and held my hand. Dad, I thought success meant being able to give you everything. I told him, success is not giving someone everything. Success is knowing what is worth giving. He started crying. I had not seen my son cry since he was a teenager. He leaned forward and hugged me. For the first time in years he did not look like a millionaire. He looked like my little boy again. Then he asked me one final question. Dad, what do you actually want from me? I smiled. Come home sometimes. That was all. No expensive gifts. No luxury vacations. No giant house. Just come home. Michael nodded. He promised me something that day. He said he would never allow his success to become an excuse for forgetting the people who loved him before he became successful. But the story did not end there. The following Sunday Michael came to church with me. Nobody knew who he was. He sat beside me in the same wooden chair. After the service he quietly asked the pastor how he could help. The pastor explained that the church needed a new community food program. Michael said, then let us build it. I looked at him. He looked at me, and we both smiled. The $8,000 that once seemed like a monthly payment to his father became something much bigger. It became meals for families, medicine for elderly people, school supplies for children, and hope for people who had almost stopped believing that anyone cared. A few months later Michael asked me something else. Dad, do you think Mom would be proud? I looked at the photograph of my wife. I said, she would be proud that you finally came home. Michael looked down. And for the first time I realized that perhaps the greatest gift a father can receive is not money. It is the return of his child. That Father's Day taught my son something that money could never teach him. A person can become a millionaire and still be poor in the things that matter most. You can own a beautiful house and still feel lonely. You can have millions in the bank and still be unable to buy one more minute with the people you love. And sometimes the person you think you are helping may actually be teaching you what true generosity looks like. My son thought he was sending me $8,000 every month, but I was never counting the dollars. I was counting the people they helped. And when he finally understood that, he stopped asking whether I was happy with the money. He started asking whether I was happy that he had come home. So if your father is still alive, call him. If your mother is still waiting for your visit, go see her. If someone you love keeps saying they do not need anything, do not assume they need nothing. Sometimes people do not need your money. They need your time. They need your presence. They need one phone call. They need one hug. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give your parents is simply to come home. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to the channel. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And leave a comment telling us what your father means to you. Your comment may become the reason another person decides to call their father today.